Welcome to the One English story, The Cave of Secrets.
It was a cool autumn afternoon when James Anderson, a young archaeologist, found an old map in his grandfather's attic. The map was old and torn, with strange symbols that made James curious. James admired his grandfather, who was an explorer. His grandfather disappeared 7 years ago. Finding this map made James excited to know more about his grandfather. The map showed a place in the mountains of northern Europe. This place was full of stories about old civilizations and hidden treasures. James decided to follow the map and discover the secrets his grandfather tried to find. James spent weeks getting ready for the journey. He collected all the things he needed: a strong backpack, climbing gear, survival tools, and enough food and water for several days. He also took his notebook to write down everything about his adventure. He flew to the nearest city and then took a train to a small village at the foot of the mountains. In the village, he hired a local guide named Eric. Eric knew a lot about the area. Together, they started walking into the dense forests and rocky terrain. The journey was hard. They had to climb steep hills and face unpredictable weather. James and Eric walked through thick bushes, crossed fast rivers, and camped under the stars. Despite the difficulties, James felt alive. Each step brought him closer to the truth about his grandfather's disappearance and the mysterious cave marked on the map. One evening, as they sat around the campfire, Eric told stories about the mountains. He talked about an ancient civilization that once lived there. This civilization was known for their knowledge and hidden treasures. According to the legend, they created a secret cave to protect their valuable possessions from invaders. Many people had tried to find the cave over the years, but none had returned. After several days of walking, they finally reached the place on the map. It was a remote area, surrounded by tall cliffs and thick forest. James and Eric searched carefully, looking at every rock and crevice for signs of an entrance. Just as they were about to give up, James noticed a rock formation that seemed out of place. He found a hidden lever under a layer of moss. With a deep breath, James pulled the lever. The ground shook, and a hidden doorway slowly appeared from the rock face. Eric watched in amazement as James stepped forward, feeling a mix of excitement and fear. The entrance led to a narrow passageway that went deep into the earth. They walked carefully, using their flashlights to see in the dark tunnel. The air grew colder and more musty as they went further inside. After what felt like hours, they reached a big underground chamber. The walls had beautiful carvings and symbols that told the story of the ancient civilization. In the center of the chamber was a huge stone door, covered in strange runes that glowed faintly in the dim light. James looked closely at the door and recognized some symbols from his grandfather's notes. With Eric's help, he figured out that the runes were part of an ancient puzzle. After several tries, they solved the puzzle, and the stone door slowly opened. Behind the door was an amazing sight, a huge cavern filled with treasures. Gold coins, precious jewels, and ancient artifacts glittered in the light of their torches. James and Eric stood in awe, unable to believe their eyes. As they explored the cavern, James found a journal that belonged to his grandfather. The journal described his grandfather's journey to the cave and his discovery of the ancient civilization's secrets. It also revealed that the cave held more than just treasure. It contained knowledge and wisdom that could change the world. James realized that his grandfather wanted to share this knowledge with the world but disappeared before he could do so. Determined to fulfill his grandfather's dream, James promised to protect the cave and its secrets. As they prepared to leave the cave, Eric saw something troubling. Footprints in the dust showed that they were not alone. Someone else had found the cave and was watching them. James and Eric quickly packed up their findings and hurried back to the entrance. When they came out of the cave, they were confronted by a group of menacing men. The leader, a man with a scar on his face, demanded that they hand over the map and the journal. James realized that these men were treasure hunters who had been following them, hoping to steal the cave's secrets. James and Eric refused to give up the map and journal without a fight. A fierce struggle followed, with James and Eric using their knowledge of the terrain to outsmart the treasure hunters. They ran through the forest, dodging bullets and traps as they made their way back to the village. Exhausted and injured, they finally reached the safety of the village. The local authorities were called, and the treasure hunters were caught. James and Eric were hailed as heroes for protecting the cave and its secrets. With the treasure hunters in jail, James returned to the cave with a team of archaeologists and historians. Together, they carefully documented and preserved the cave's contents, ensuring that the knowledge and wisdom of the ancient civilization would be shared with the world. James's discovery made headlines around the globe, and he was celebrated for his bravery and determination. He continued his grandfather's work, using the knowledge from the cave to advance science and technology. Years passed, and James became a famous explorer and scholar. He never forgot the journey that led him to the Cave of Secrets and his grandfather's legacy. The cave remained protected. As he stood at the entrance of the cave one last time, he felt a deep sense of fulfillment. He had uncovered the secrets of the cave, honored his grandfather's legacy, and contributed to the betterment of humanity. The adventure had changed his life forever, and he was ready for new challenges. The Cave of Secrets continued to inspire many generations of explorers, scientists, and dreamers. Its treasures and knowledge were shared with the world, advancing human understanding and progress. James's story became a legend, reminding people of the power of curiosity, courage, and the lasting legacy of those who seek to uncover the mysteries of the past. And so, the Cave of Secrets remained a beacon of hope and discovery, a testament to the unyielding spirit of exploration that drives humanity forward.